You finally made the decision to start going to the gym. But wait, there's a million different advice online, so which one do you follow? I spent 7 years in the gym, trying and failing until I found what works. Let's cut out all the fluff and talk about everything you actually need to start. Stick with me and I promise I'll make that starting point 10 times easier for you. Let's get started. So first of all, let's talk about training intensity and frequency. As a beginner, there's really no need for you to go to the gym more than 4 times. Your body needs time to adapt to this new habit, and overtraining can actually do more harm for you than good. The first few months in the gym, you should focus on these 3 things. First of all, you should get comfortable with the gym. There's a bunch of new machines that you just saw, a bunch of exercises that you saw online, this whole new atmosphere, these new people. Just focus on getting started. There's no shame in not knowing what you're doing. There's only shame in not doing anything about it. So make sure that you first get familiar with the gym that you're going to and then gradually implement new things as you're there. So second thing that I want to talk about is perfecting your form. A lot of people come into the gym with this mindset of I'm going to push the heaviest weight, I'm going to train as hard as I can. And yeah, that's cool if you're in the gym for like 5 years. But as a beginner, the first thing you should focus on is perfecting the form. Learning the correct technique for each exercise to avoid injuries and maximize results. There's a bunch of instructional videos about each exercise that exists on YouTube. So if you want to do a certain exercise but don't necessarily know how to, you can actually go on YouTube and watch somebody else do it. So the third thing in this module I want to speak about is starting light. Guys, please do not rack 2 plates on your bench the first day you come into the gym. You'll probably get a shoulder injury and never come back into the gym and just traumatize yourself for life. And we don't want to do that, obviously. First of all, you will use small weights to master the form, then gradually increase the intensity as you get more comfortable with the exercise and of course your form getting better. This gradual increase is called progressive overload, and this is a gym term that you'll be hearing a lot. It's actually a foundational principle in fitness and applies to everything from weight to calorie intake, training intensity, and actually a lot more. As your body adapts, you can increase the training frequency and intensity. So the second thing is there's a bunch of training splits available. The thing is, you actually need to find which one works for you best. There's no single best split. It actually depends on your schedule, your goals, your preferences, and a lot of other factors. So you need to find a training routine that works for you and stick with it. So for beginners, I would recommend a 4-day split, which means you will probably go 2 days in the gym, take 1 day off, rinse and repeat. Some splits that I would recommend for this would be a typical bro split. Each day you do one specific body part. Monday you do chest, Tuesday you do legs, and then you take 1 day off. And then on Friday, you actually do back, and Saturday you do arms. Then you take a break, and then you just repeat the whole cycle throughout the next few weeks. Another split that you can do is a upper and lower split. As the name suggests, 1 day you would be doing all the upper parts of your body, which would be chest, your back, arms, and shoulders. The other day you would be doing legs and abs, maybe even some lower back. One thing that's very important about training splits is do not fall in love with your training split. It's cool that this one works for you, but obviously don't want to do it forever. After about 6 months period, I would recommend to actually modify your split. Since you're not a beginner, after 6 months, you can adjust it to a 5-day split or modify the split to challenge your body and to actually prevent plateaus. Plateaus happen when you stick to one thing for a long period of time and not notice any change. So that's the time when you should change something about your training or your diet. Also, make sure that you personalize your workout. What this means, you don't want to blindly be copying somebody from YouTube. So let's say you saw Chris Bumstead do a chest and tricep day and you're just doing that. Guys, you need to understand these people that are recording these videos and having all these training splits, they're working out for like at least 5 to 10 years and they found what's working for them. What we're trying to do here is find what's working for you. Make sure that you test out all the workouts and the different training splits and see which one works for you and stick to it. The key is consistency and experimenting to actually find out what works best for you. Now, you can train all you want with as much intensity as you want, but if you're missing a diet, you're not going to do anything. Your diet is the most important factor in your fitness journey. Even with consistent training, a poor diet will hold you back so hard I cannot even comprehend. Here's how to actually get started. First thing you want to do is calculate your calories. You can use a bunch of different calorie calculators that are online. The one I personally use is MyFitnessPal. I'm not sponsored by them, obviously, but it's just something that's been working for me these past 7 years that I've been in the gym. You can track your macros, you can track your calories, you can track your daily water intake, even your exercises. It's completely free. You can download it on the App Store or Google Play. They also have some premium features, but as a beginner, you don't necessarily need them, so you can just stick to the free plan. So once you actually download this application, put in all the necessary information, and it'll calculate how much calories you need to maintain your weight. Now, obviously, depending on your goal, that calorie count will go up or down. Whether you're bulking or cutting, you will adjust the calories accordingly. And don't worry, the application will do this for you, so you don't have to bust your brains out about how many of which macro you need to intake. Now, a very important thing about a diet is eating clean. A lot of people make this mistake when going into this huge bulking phase, usually around winter time right now. They just start eating everything that's in front of them, and this is not the way to go. You need to focus on whole and unprocessed foods. These will actually provide the nutrients your body needs to build muscle and recover properly. You don't want to be eating shit because you'll be looking like shit. So for protein sources, I recommend chicken, turkey, beef, fish, eggs, and dairy products if you're lactose tolerant, obviously. For carbohydrates, I would recommend rice, potatoes. I even eat bread, but that's up to you. Pasta as well, that's a very good carb source, and these are all clean foods, keep in mind. For fats, I would recommend butter, olive oil, coconut oil, peanut butter, nuts. They're a very good source of fat. Obviously want to throw in vegetables and fruits in your diet. They have a lot of vitamins in them, and they're essential for your growth. Now, obviously, as a beginner, you're not doing fitness and bodybuilding professionally, so you can stick to the 80-20 rule. So that means 80% of your meals should be clean, while you can allow yourself that 20% for flexibility. I mean, we all like to go out with friends, grab a slice of pizza and ice cream, so just make sure you don't overdo it. It's okay to have a little bit of that in your diet, but if that becomes your diet, that's very bad, and we want to avoid that. When it comes to meal timing, ideally you want to be eating every 3 to 4 hours, so your body constantly has food to digest and actually build that muscle that you're gaining. Now, we talked about different goals when it comes to your diet, and those are bulking or cutting. Some people like to maintain the weight that they gained, but as you're just starting out in the gym, obviously one of the two mentioned things will be your goal. So when it comes to bulking, you would be calculating your maintenance calories and adding 300 to 500 calories above your maintenance level. This is dependent on how fast you actually want to progress. For me, I'm about 6 feet tall at around 180 pounds, and I'm intaking almost 4,000 calories every day. And that's just something that works for me, and I'm able to gain about 2 pounds weekly. Obviously, you'll track your progress with the aforementioned app. So you will be calculating the macros through there, and you'll be looking at the scale each morning so you can update your progress, and the app updating the progress for you accordingly. Now, I mentioned you don't want to be eating shitty foods, so a lot of people do this thing called dirty bulking, where they just intake everything that's in front of them. They eat McDonald's, they eat KFC. Guys, this is not the way to go, okay? You'll just gain excess fat. You'll look like a sack of potatoes. So make sure that you stick to clean foods and avoid dirty bulking. Like, it's so unhealthy. Now, apart from food, you also want to challenge yourself in the gym and progressively overload the weight as you're overloading your diet. So this will allow you to actually grow in size and not just in weight. When it comes to cutting, on the other hand, it's a very similar process. It's just you'll be reducing 300 to 500 calories instead of adding them. You'll still stick to high quality foods, clean, unprocessed foods. Just the thing is, you will reduce your carb intake. I noticed this works for me, so you would just be sticking to mostly protein and fats, because that's actually what's building your muscle. Carbs are just filling your muscles with energy, making them look fuller, retaining a little bit of water, and that's what's actually giving you that like full look. If you want to be lean, you want to cut out carbs, not completely. You'll still need carbs to actually gain that energy to train in the gym, but you won't be intaking excess carbs. You'll just be intaking as much as you need to maintain that energy level. Now, apart from reducing the food, we also need some additional activities to actually burn the fat that you have, and that is cardio. I recommend limiting your starting sessions with cardio to about 40 minutes. This is kind of the ideal time to burn about 400 calories-ish, and it'll help you start losing weight rapidly. I would recommend doing cardio at the beginning of your gym workout, and then you can go to the weightlifting section. These two combined will burn a ton, and you'll be maintaining the muscle that you gained and even progressing with something. Now the part that everybody's been waiting for, and that is supplements. Supplements are just that. They supplement your diet. 99% of your calorie intake of your diet should contain whole foods, and that 1% should be the supplements. There's some commercial supplements that everybody uses, like protein powder, creatine, pre-workouts, so we're going to talk about all of them. First thing is protein powder, and this is actually a lifesaver if you cannot intake a whole lot of food throughout the day, or you're just not used to doing so at the moment. Protein powder, it's useful for hitting your daily protein goals, and if you're short on whole foods, you can get 30 grams of protein a day with just one dose of protein powder easily. So that helps tremendously. I recommend putting it in your oatmeal. It's just easier to eat it that way, and your oatmeal will be much more delicious. When it comes to creatine, a lot of people praise it as this like holy supplement. It's actually very good to gain weight and get muscle. But when it comes to me personally, I just tend to retain a lot of water while on creatine and don't see that great of results. I've been using it for like 6 months consistently at one period, and I just got bloated. Personal results may vary. You can test it out. There's nothing wrong with you finding out that supplement is not for you. It's just important that you notice that and not waste any more money on it. A very important thing I want to mention is you want to avoid these bullshit company supplements, which is BCAAs, testosterone boosters, weight gainers, fat burners. They're often just cash grabs. They don't do anything. Bodybuilders tend to use them a lot because obviously they're on hormones or additional supplements, call it whatever you want, and they need some additional things to actually fuel all of that. But you're just starting out in the gym. You don't need amino acids in your diet. You don't even know what amino acids are. Let's be fair. Testosterone boosters, they're just little kid stories. They may work for bodybuilders in like post-cycle therapies and stuff like that, but just make sure that you avoid these bullshit supplements because they won't do anything for you. And now, the praised supplement of the bodybuilding industry, and that is pre-workout. Pre-workout, I used it a lot of times. It's very fun to use, but not essential. So if you use it, just make sure that you cycle it on and off because your body's actually building this tolerance to caffeine that's located in it and which is giving you the energy from the supplement. So you can buy a tub of pre-workout. You can use it for as long as it lasts you, throw it away, and make a break for like 2 or 3 months. It's fun to use, but you can become dependent on it and your workouts can become very boring if you use it every day. So guys, fitness and bodybuilding are not as complicated as they seem. Success actually boils down to consistency, learning, and adapting as you go. If you have any questions on bodybuilding, fitness, diet, or anything that I mentioned in this video, drop them down in the comment below. I'll be more than glad to answer you. As I mentioned, I'm going to the gym for 7 years. I learned on my mistakes. Everything that I talked about, I'm talking from my personal experience. So if you have questions, make sure you ask them. If you want daily insights, book recommendations, free spreadsheets, free trackers, I actually opened a mailing list which you can subscribe to for completely free. And if you don't like it, you can also unsubscribe. There are no hard feelings there. So you can check the link below. This has been Mihailo, and my goal is to teach you to suffer with purpose.